Section 2-4B is very similar to Section 2-4A with the addition of parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. So basically what you need to do is what I call the flip and switch. You need to flip the number, switch the sign. So let's look at a couple of examples here. I'm giving you the slope of a line here, and we want to write down what the slope of the line that's perpendicular and the slope of the line that would be parallel to these slopes. So parallel lines have the same slope. Pretty easy. So let's just fill the parallel in first. If the slope is 3, a line that's parallel also has the same slope. If the slope is -1/2, -1/2 has to be exactly the same. So this would be 5/7. Slope of a line that's perpendicular, we have to take the negative reciprocal. So flip the number, switch the sign. 3 is just the same as saying 3/1. So if we take the reciprocal, it's going to be 1/3, and we switch the sign. So -1/3. When you multiply a slope with a perpendicular slope, you should end up with a -1. And that's what will happen here. Which makes sense because lines that are perpendicular, they're going to intersect at a negative or a 90-degree angle. And unless you have lines like this, one will have a positive slope, one will have a negative slope. So positive slope, negative slope. Okay, taking the reciprocal here, we'll get 2, changing the sign, we'll get a +2. Taking the reciprocal here, we'll get 7/5, and then taking the opposite, we have -7/5. So that's how you get parallel and perpendicular slopes if you're given a slope. So what we want to do is we want to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if we're given a line parallel. Okay, now everything in this question will give you some type of information. Parallel means that you have the same slope. So that means the slope of the line that I'm looking for is 5. Then I would like you to cross this off. That's the y-intercept. Parallel lines will not have the same y-intercept, so we don't even want to use that. A lot of times I have people try to use that -3 because it's there. But think about it. If you have two parallel lines, they are not going to have the same y-intercept. They don't. So cross the intercept off when you're dealing with the parallel line. Okay, now we know that it goes through 1,4, so write down x, y here. All right, so that means that x is 1, y is 4. All right, now we're going to go back to what you did yesterday. We're going to write y equals mx plus b. And then we're going to substitute the information that we have. In slope-intercept form, we need the slope and the intercept. We have the slope, but we don't have the intercept. However, we have enough information to find it. I have y, I have x, I have m. I can find b. So let's plug everything in. We have 4 for y, 5 for m, 1 for x. We're looking for b. So when we subtract 5 from either side, we're going to end up with a b of -1. Now I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. That's all I need to write the equation for a line in slope-intercept form. So we substitute the slope here and the y-intercept here. Now you can always check to see if you have the correct line. This line should have a point of 1,4 on it. So if I substitute 1,4 into this equation, it should be true. So we substitute 4 for y, 1 for x, and 4 equals 4. So that's true. All right, now we're going to write the equation for a line perpendicular. Okay, now what does that tell me? Each piece of information gives you something to help you write the equation for your line. So that means I need to flip and switch. All right, so I take the slope of this line, I cross off the intercept because we don't know for certain that they're going to have the same intercept. We do know they have the slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. So always, when you're doing parallel and perpendicular lines, cross off that y-intercept so you don't get into trouble. All right, it's going to go through to -1. That's your x and y. So we have a slope of -2. X is 2, y is -1. And we are going to use y equals mx plus b. And we're going to substitute in -1 for y, -2 for your slope, and +2 for x. That allows us to solve for b, which is 3. And now we have y equals, so we'll go back to y equals mx plus b. We substitute the slope and the intercept. That's what it's asking for, slope and intercept. That is going to be the same no matter where you are on your line. X and y will change. Slope and intercept will not. That's why we put those in there. Okay, so y equals -2x plus 3. Let's plug that point back in and see if we have it correct. So we have the y is -1. Slope is -2. X is 2. So that would be -1. -4 plus 3 is -1. So we have the correct line. Okay, couple of problems for you to try.